Walters Sports Bar is available for private events. Visit waltersdc.com/private events for more information.
And welcome to Nats Chat for Friday, June 21st, 2024. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. Mark Zuckerman is off for this installment of the podcast. This episode of Nats Chat brought to us by the DC Grays. DC Grays Baseball is an all-volunteer nonprofit that brings baseball and softball to kids in under-resourced neighborhoods of Washington, D.C. The Grays' 2024 season is underway. To donate and learn more about the Grays, visit dcgrays.com. Well, for the first time in 4 series, the Nationals have lost a series Thursday afternoon, a 5-2 loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks at Nationals Park to lose the series 2-1. First series loss for the Nats since they got swept by the New York Mets in 3 games at Nationals Park, June 3rd through the 5th. The Nats, for this 2024 MLB regular season now, are 36-38, including 17-19 at home versus 19-19 on the road. The Nats are one of the few teams in the majors that has been better on the road than at home. And now for the Nats does come a 9-game road trip. The Nats, over their 3 games against the Diamondbacks, totaled a mere 5 runs. We know that the Nats offense is not good. This series may be a new low point for this Nationals offense this season. The Nats on Thursday afternoon, for a 3rd time in 3 games, made a lot of quick outs. Consider this, the Diamondback starting pitcher on Thursday afternoon, Ryan Nelson, he allowed 2 runs in 7 innings on 70 pitches. Think about that. He lasted for 7 innings and yet threw just 70 pitches. The Nats in this game just did 2 runs, just 4 hits, which were 2 home runs and 2 singles, no walks, 0 at-bats with runners in scoring position. The Nats in this series swung early in counts, did swing at a lot of strikes. It is important to note that. It's not like the Nats were chasing a ton, but the results were woeful, and the overall results for the Nats offensively continue to be woeful. The Nats, for this 2024 regular season, now have the following team slash line: batting average of just a .232, on base percentage of just .302, slugging percentage of just .358. All 3 of those slash line numbers are bad, but what sticks out to me more than anything is that team on base percentage of just .302, that the Nats are flirting with having a team on base percentage in the 200s is frightening. Here was Nats manager Davey Martinez during his postgame press conference on Thursday afternoon on the Nats offense, and then you'll hear multiple follow-up exchanges.
We just couldn't, the guy was attacking us, through strikes. At one point I looked up, I know he had like 70 pitches when he came out, but he had like 50 strikes and whatever balls, We just missing pitches to hit. We're getting balls right there and we're fouling them off. We got to get on them. Like I said, we got to try to jump these starters early. I don't mind them swinging early. Today we took some fastballs right there. He came right back and foul. So we made early outs, too. So it's just, but these guys they're coming in. These guys all attacked us, this series. Got to get ready to hit. We just got to get ready to hit.
You guys did attack pretty well, actually, in the strike zone. It seemed like on the balls put in play, but like you said, they just landed for outs. Like, what's the level of frustration when that happens? Yeah, we just get, like I said, the guys that are like Winker and Lane, they can't get frustrated. I mean, they're swinging the bats, they're hitting the balls. When they get pitched, they're driving the balls. These other guys, it's just about consistency with these other guys. Get up there and have 3 good at bats. That's going to be the key for us, is that we got to have consistent at bats and stretch out the game, a little bit more. It seems like we go out there and we get 3 outs in about 6 or 7 minutes, and our pitcher's going back out there again. So we got to get some length in our innings and try to get some guys on base and try to knock them around.
What's kind of your evaluation when, as you said, swinging at strikes and you're also maybe not having these sort of long at bats? How do you square that?
It's about, when you get a good pitch to hit, it's about squaring the ball up. It really is. You start working deep in counts, and like I said, hitting's hard enough. If you look at the average of major league average of 2-strike hitters, it's like a pitcher hitting. I mean, it's tough. So we get a good pitch to hit, we got to be ready to hit it. If he throws you a good pitch to hit, you better be ready to hit it. Know what pitches you want to swing at, and when you get it there, you got to hit it, and you got to put it in play, and you got to try to hit it hard. I mean, that's about the key to hitting, really. Like I said, you're going to go through moments where those things just don't happen because you're in a little bit of a funk. When that happens, then start seeing some pitches. If you feel like you're in a funk, start seeing some pitches. And get back in that groove. You're never going to swing your way out of it. You're not. All of a sudden you start chasing. So we definitely got to stay away from that.
Yes, you do. The Nats on Thursday afternoon again were without shortstop C.J. Abrams. He did not play for a second consecutive day due to an ailing left hand/wrist. We do now know some more about this situation. Davey Martinez on Thursday revealed that Abrams has a small cyst in the lower part of his left palm and is considered day-to-day. The Nats' 2 home runs on Thursday afternoon came from Lane Thomas and Jesse Winker. Lane Thomas as the Nats starting right fielder and number 1 batter went 1 for 4 with a solo homer. Thomas in a Nats 1-run third had a 2-out solo homer to left center field for a 1-0 Nats lead. The homer went a projected 411 feet per StatCast. Lane Thomas remains a recent bright spot. It was on May 27th, Memorial Day, that the Nats announced having reinstated Thomas from the 10-day injured list, which he had been on since April 24th due to a sprained left MCL. Thomas, since coming off the 10-day IL, is 24 for 88 with 6 home runs, a triple, 4 doubles, 13 singles, and 8 walks. 11 of the 24 hits have been extra base hits. Jesse Winker, he is the Nats starting left fielder and number 2 batter, went 2 for 4 with a solo homer and a single. Winker in a Nats 1-run 6 had a 2-out solo homer to center field to cut the Nats deficit to 4-2. The homer went a projected 404 feet per StatCast, and Winker in the bottom of the 9th had a 1-out first pitch, opposite field single to left center field. Jesse Winker for this regular season is number 1 among all qualified Nats players in not just on-base percentage, 381, but also OPS, 802. He is not hit for that much power, although he lately has hit for more power, but Winker now is 11 points ahead of C.J. Abrams in OPS.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. The finals mean more on PrizePicks, and so do the star players. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars that you won't find anywhere else. And when the finals are over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks because women's basketball is just getting started. With young stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves, alongside greats like Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson, you could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. This week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the basketball board and selecting Jaylen Brown for more than 25 points, Tyrese Halliburton for more than 10 assists, and Jason Tatum for more than 10 rebounds. Download the app today and use code BLUEWIRE for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code BLUEWIRE on the PrizePicks app for that first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less, it's that easy.
You look at other Nats players in this game. Eddie Rosario, he is the Nats starting DH and number 3 batter, went 0 for 4. Remember when Eddie Rosario had the great May off the awful April? Well, he's having an awful June. Rosario for this month of June has an OPS of just 445. Luis Garcia Jr., he is the Nats starting second baseman and number 5 batter, went 0 for 3. He's having a rough June. Garcia's slash line for this month of June, batting average of just a 233. On base percentage of just a 246, slugging percentage of just a 267. Jacob Young, he is the Nats starting center fielder and number 9 batter, went 0 for 3. Look, we all love Jacob Young's defense. We all love Jacob Young's speed. He unquestionably has been a bright spot to this Nats season, but if you're being honest and objective, he is not doing well as a batter. Young, for this regular season at the major league level, 214 plate appearances, OPS of just 624. His OPS for this month of June is just 539. And then there is Keibert Ruiz. He has the Nats starting catcher and number 4 batter, went 0 for 4. Yeah, Davey Martinez had Keibert, who is having a nightmare of a season as the cleanup batter. Keibert for this regular season now has an OPS of just .520. Now, I do want to give him credit for a defensive play that he made on Thursday afternoon. Keibert in the top of the sixth got credited with a pickoff of Ketel Marte at third base, as with runners at the corners, 1 out, and the Nats trailing 4-1. Keibert faked the throw to second base, where the runner on first base, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., was running to from first base, and then Keibert had Marte in a rundown between third base and home plate for a 2-5-1 tagout for the second out. So that was good. But as you likely know, Keibert this season is not rating well defensively, as was the case last season. You look at all catchers in the majors, each with at least 200 innings at catcher this regular season. Keibert, as of games through Wednesday, was tied for 39th out of 46 such catchers in defensive runs saved at -5, and was tied for 39th out of 46 such catchers in StatCast framing runs above average at -3. Things with Keibert Ruiz are not getting better. He, in this series, was the Nats starting catcher for each of the 3 games. Drew Millis did not start a single game. The Nats on June 2nd announced having recalled Millis from AAA Rochester, for which he this season has an OPS of .858. I know that Millis has not exactly thrived in his playing opportunity at the major league level, and I get wanting to see Keibert Ruiz play his way out of this. I support Keibert Ruiz being given the opportunity to play his way out of this. But, there is an uncomfortable conversation that is emerging, and that conversation is Keibert in the midst of something that he can/will play his way out of, or is this just who he is? Like, maybe not this bad, but maybe not nearly as good as we thought/hoped. This is Keibert Ruiz's 3rd full season with the Nats. He, the last 2 seasons, was appreciably better than this offensively. That is true. But, he still was a below league average batter for the team in each of the last 2 regular seasons, if you go by OPS plus, and he now is having a 2nd consecutive wretched season defensively. Although, again, he on Thursday afternoon did make that nice play. I am rooting for Keibert Ruiz. It is significant to this Nats rebuild that Keibert Ruiz works out, but right now he is not working out, and there's no denying that. Well, the Nats starting pitcher for this 5-2 loss to the Diamondbacks on Thursday afternoon was MacKenzie Gore. His final line was not good, 4 runs in 5 innings, but there was an element of bad luck to Gore's start. The big problem was that he gave up a whopping 10 hits, but the 10 hits were a double and 9 singles. So he did get victimized by the variance of the batted ball. He issued 2 walks. He did record 7 strikeouts, and while he threw a lot of pitches, he did throw a lot of strikes. Gore, over his 5 innings, threw 103 pitches, but 72 of those pitches were strikes. 72 strikes versus just 31 balls. So some of Gore's peripherals from this outing were good. And regarding him encountering some bad luck, take it to the top of the 4th, in which Gore allowed 3 runs on 3 singles and a double. Gore gave up a leadoff opposite field single by Jake McCarthy to left field. Gore gave up a 1-out infield single by Kevin Newman. Newman hit a grounder to Ildemaro Vargas deep in the hole at shortstop. Vargas made a backhanded catch and then one-hop throw to first baseman Joey Meneses, but the throw was wide of first base, and Meneses did not make a successful attempted backhanded catch of the throw. The play initially was ruled a throwing error by Vargas, but then got changed to a single. Gore gave up a 1-out first pitch opposite field RBI single by the Diamondbacks' number 9 batter Tucker Barnhart to left field to tie the game at 1. And Gore gave up a 2-out 2-run double by Randall Grichuk to left field for a 3-1 Diamondbacks lead. And left fielder Jesse Winker on the play had trouble retrieving the ball. And then Gore, at the top of the 5th, allowed a run on 2 singles and a walk. It's not like all of the hits that Gore gave up were the result of soft contact, but there is an understanding that singles often are random and are just a matter of where balls happen to be hit. The famous saying from the immortal Wee Willie Keeler, a right fielder who was listed as being 5'4", ergo the nickname Wee. And yet Wee Willie Keeler made the National Baseball Hall of Fame. But that saying, and you've probably heard it, is hit 'em where they ain't. That saying has become immortalized in baseball. Hit 'em where they ain't. That's a lot of what happened to MacKenzie Gore on Thursday afternoon. The Diamondbacks hit balls to where fielders were not, continuing this trend of Gore getting ripped via his BABIP, his batting average on balls in play allowed. League average BABIP is around 300. A pitcher with a BABIP allowed well below 300 is thought to have benefited from good luck. A pitcher with a BABIP allowed well above 300 is thought to have been plagued by bad luck. Gore now, for this regular season, has a BABIP allowed of 377. That is absurd. I mean, you look at other Nats starting pitchers for this regular season. Jake Irvin, BABIP allowed of 283. Mitchell Parker, BABIP allowed of 257. Trevor Williams, BABIP allowed of 270. Patrick Corbin, BABIP allowed of 335, but we know the deal with Corbin. He's not good. But Gore having a BABIP allowed of 377 is crazy. That should come down as the season goes on, although Gore has had the high BABIP allowed for a while, and it's not coming down. Now, part of the issue is that he doesn't give up many grounders, but still, a BABIP allowed of 377 is indicative of at least some bad luck. And, it makes Gore's overall season look even better. Even with the high BABIP allowed, Gore for this regular season over 15 starts has an ERA of 3.49, a whip of 139, and a strikeouts per 9 innings of 11.03. The Nats bullpen in this 5-2 loss to the Diamondbacks on Thursday afternoon was mostly good. 4 Nats relievers combined to allow 1 run in 4 innings with 5 strikeouts. Jacob Barnes tossed a scoreless top of the 6th despite giving up a double and a single. Robert Garcia tossed a perfect top of the 7th with 2 swinging strikeouts. Dylan Floro tossed a perfect top of the 8th with 2 strikeouts. Jordan Weems, in the top of the 9th, allowed a run on a 2-out solo homer by former Oriole Christian Walker to left field for a 5-2 Diamondbacks lead. The homer went a projected 413 feet per Statcast. The numbers for Jordan Weems this regular season have become quite ugly. 29 games, 27 innings, ERA of 6.67, whip of 1.67. Next up for the Nats is a 3-game series at the National League West worst Colorado Rockies, whose pitching is horrendous. The Rockies for this regular season have the worst team ERA in the majors, 5.60, and have the worst team whip in the majors, 155. Coors Field, of course, is a notorious hitter's park, so perhaps this will be a get-right series for the Nats offense. Game 1 Friday night at 8:40. DJ Hers will be the Nats starting pitcher. Game 2 Saturday night at 9:10. Mitchell Parker will be the Nats starting pitcher. Game 3 Sunday afternoon at 3:10. Jake Irvin will be the Nats starting pitcher. Also with the Nats on Thursday were a few news items. Starting pitcher Josiah Gray will make at least one more minor league start in his rehab assignment. The outing will be for AAA Rochester next week. Gray has been on the 15-day injured list since April 9th, retroactive to April 6th, with a right elbow / right forearm flexor strain. And we on Thursday had notable minor league news for the Nats. The team officially promoted starting pitcher Brad Lord from AA Harrisburg to AAA Rochester. Is Brad Lord about to join Jake Irvin and Mitchell Parker and perhaps DJ Hers as an unlikely but oh-so-pleasant success story for the Nats in terms of their starting pitching? The Nats took Brad Lord in the 18th round of the 2022 MLB draft out of the University of South Florida. This season is his age 24 season. This season for AA Harrisburg, 12 starts, ERA of 1.40, whip of 1.033, strikeouts per 9 innings of 9.55. Again, This is a guy who was taken in the 18th round of the 2022 MLB draft, and he's already pitching at AAA. Have the Nats and Brad Lord found a diamond in the rough? This episode of the Nats Chat Podcast brought to us by the DC Grays. DC Grays Baseball, an all-volunteer nonprofit that brings baseball and softball to kids in under-resourced neighborhoods of Washington, D.C. The Grays 2024 season is underway. To donate and learn more about the Grays, visit dcgrays.com. You tell us what you think. You can hit us up on X at Nats_chat. You can email the show, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website that you can check out, natschatpodcast.com, at which you can buy a Nats Chat Podcast t-shirt. We appreciate everyone listening. We always appreciate the spreading of the word of the Nats Chat Podcast. If you know of Nats fans who want more content, more conversation about the Nats, let them know about the Nats Chat Podcast, for which there is a new episode for the morning after every Nats game day. I'm Al Galdi. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next time on the Nats Chat Podcast.
Thank you.